Today we talk social entrepreneurship live from Gordy's. Hey everybody, Dennis Schiraldi, founder of DOYO Live Digital Marketing Interactive Design Conference. And this is the DOYO Live Marketing Show. Hey everybody, welcome. Gonna give you some time to drop on by. We have a special guest today, a lovely name by the way, Gianni Centifonti.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Very exciting stuff going on in Youngstown, Ohio. Gianna is the founder of a upcoming conference called the So Good Conference, which is specializing in social entrepreneurship, B corporations, and we want to talk a little bit about with you today what exactly social entrepreneurship is, what type of business does that exactly mean, and the benefits of that. And we also want to make sure that you're well aware of your upcoming event on October 12th. That's right. So thank you for dropping by. We really appreciate wherever you are. Hi, Beth. We are live at Gordy's in Boardman, Ohio, because immediately following our DOYO Live Marketing Show, we are actually having a Youngstown Digital Marketing Meetup group. So hopefully you're able to stick around for 5 minutes for that as well. In any case, very excited to have you sitting next to me, Gianna. Let's give some people some context here, because you and I were in the same building for a little while. I had an office at the Youngstown Business Incubator, and that's where you work out of.
Yes.
So talk to us a little bit about your background there.
So I'm the Entrepreneurship and Research Coordinator at the Youngstown Business Incubator. And what that means is that I provide research resources for our entrepreneurs in the Youngstown Business Incubator. So a lot of research for tech companies, software companies, and just working with them on a one-on-one basis with our entrepreneurs and residents to make sure that they see the success that we want them to see and that they're striving for.
Research, such a huge component, the non-sexy topic when it comes to marketing, right? It's not like so the nuts and bolts, the behind the scenes, the down and dirty. What are some of the tools that you utilize when you're doing some research for people and getting data and data points? What are some of the tools that you leverage?
So one of my favorite places to go is using the library databases, which people tend to stray away from them, being really intimidated by them. But databases like Mergent Intellect, Reference USA, you can pull up a list of companies in a certain industry, in a certain geographic location, and have data on all of these companies. So that's a really huge component for market research.
And pause there for a second, because not a lot of people know that the public library, yes, it's a great place to go get books.
It is.
And I don't want to tell on myself if I have an outstanding library debt or not from not returning some books. Anyway, but Stuart Gibbs at the Youngstown Public Library is a tremendous resource, and best of all for entrepreneurs, the cost is pretty much time, right? A lot of that stuff is free.
It is, yeah, and Stuart is a great resource. Stuart Gibbs at the Public Library, a little plug for him. But you can access their databases from anywhere. You just have to put in your library card number, so maybe you need to take another visit to get a library card. But it's great being able to access those anywhere.
It is, and the great thing about Reference USA is that it slices and dices data based upon industry, based upon the role within an organization, and all sorts of great stuff that is really important to maybe, figuring out whether or not you've got an opportunity to go in to a certain market or to a certain business.
Sure.
Absolutely. So, and in working out of the incubator, you're also, are you graduated?
Yes, as of May.
Talk about that. You're a Youngstown State University graduate.
Yeah, so this past May I graduated with my bachelor's degree in business administration, and I minored in finance and entrepreneurship, which comes in handy being at YBI.
Yeah, absolutely. And what are some of the characteristics and things that you see in the entrepreneurs that are coming through the YBI that make them, whether they're admirable qualities of taking the chance and the risk to be an entrepreneur, or just some of the characteristics of what it takes to be an entrepreneur?
Yeah, I would say a few things that we hope for is the coachability of an entrepreneur, that you're coming to us seeking advice, and so being able to take that advice and really follow through with that is a big component. And then also just having the passion and drive that, hey, things aren't looking great, but we're going to keep pushing through and keep working towards this and putting in the longer hours if that's what it means, and doing what it takes.
Coachability, that's a tough thing for probably a lot of entrepreneurs and small business owners, and a lot of the reason why they go that path is because they're a little bit of a maverick type that don't necessarily fit into the normal hierarchy of a corporate structure.
Right.
And so taking advice, taking the coaching is a tough thing for a lot of entrepreneurs, but I think the successful ones that are really good at it recognize that there are these resources and people that can provide mentorship, whether it's formal or informal.
Right, exactly.
Do you have, as an entrepreneur in residence there and seeing that, do you have somebody that you look for coaching, for guidance, for mentorship yourself?
Yeah, I would say that all of the team members at YBI add value in a different way. So you have Jim Kostler, the chief entrepreneur in residence, and some of my other co-workers that they all have their strong points that make us a great team.
Big shout out to Jim Kostler. He's a major, been a major force, major driver, obviously out of the YBI, and Barb Ewing taking over as the CEO. But short story there, Jim is a really big reason why I personally moved back to the area. A lot of people think it's the Catholic guilt from parents, but really it was a visit to the YBI about 8 years ago, and he was very inspiring to say, this is what's going on. We're a B2B software tech incubator, the #1 ranked university affiliated incubator in the world, and he said, we want you to take back what you've learned other places and be a part of this community and help us grow. And that really sat heavy with me to what I aspire to do from my own marketing conference of providing professional development. So let's get into social entrepreneurship. What exactly is social entrepreneurship for our viewing audience that may not have any idea of what exactly that means?
Yeah.
By the way, Talia, thanks for dropping by. Ralph, stay sassy. Nick, thank you for dropping by as well on the DOYO Live Marketing Show. Gianni Centifonti from the YBI, and also founder of the So Good Conference, talking live from Gordy's in Boardman, Ohio, and we're getting into social entrepreneurship.
Yes. So a social enterprise is generally a for-profit company. It can be a nonprofit, but typically a for-profit company that puts the triple bottom line at the heart of their business. So they want to do what's best for the planet, for people, and for profit. So you still want to maximize profits just as every other company wants to do, but you might have a different component or mission as a part of your business. So there's a bakery in Cleveland that hires ex-cons and trains them to be pastry chefs. So then they have this job and they can go on from there as a working part of society again. So there's a lot of ways that people give back, even something like Tom's Shoes, where each time that I purchase a pair of shoes, they donate a pair of shoes to someone in need. So that's a pretty common model that kind of clicks for people, like, okay, I have heard of social entrepreneurship before.
Yeah, one of my favorites examples of that is Fatheads is a brewery, Pittsburgh, Cleveland affiliated, and there's a certain IPA that they make that speaks right to my heart, not just from a beer perspective, but they donate a percentage of all sales from that IPA to trail advocacy, mountain bike trail advocacy in the Cleveland, Ohio area. And so locally, have you found, like, especially specifically regionally to the Youngstown market, many businesses going the route of the social enterprise that you could provide us maybe with an example? I've seen you down at the Youngstown Flea. So are there any businesses locally that you see doing that officially or unofficially?
Yeah, I think in the Youngstown area, from what I've seen, it's more unofficially that when I might mention the term social enterprise, maybe that's not something that just clicks right away, but then as I explain it, it's like, oh yeah, well, we give a portion of our profits to this organization all the time, or whatever it may be. There's a coffee roasting company locally that pays a higher wage to support the farmers that are harvesting the coffee beans, so they pride themselves on being a social enterprise. I would say that I've seen it more officially as in Northeast Ohio as a whole, including Cleveland and Akron, but locally there's definitely people who feel inspired to want to do something like this.
I was with a group yesterday, Centers for Hearing, and their shout out to them Fortunato Figliano.
Okay.
Slightly Italian. Anyway, Fortunato and I got together. He came to the DOYO Live Marketing Conference back in August, and we were talking about the fact that they're very much mission-based. With their hearing aids, they go on missions, and they're getting ready to go on one now to where they'll bring hearing aids to people in foreign countries where, you know, they serve a purpose. Their business model is that they obviously drive revenue through their hearing aids, but then they go on missions to make sure that people are getting access to hearing aids. But then what they also did is that they actually started to do that locally as well, to where it started out with like 15, then it grew to like 30 people that each year from an economically challenged background that they do that.
That's very cool.
My own business, I like to say that we're purpose driven. And by meaning that is that, you know, our mission is that we stand as an organization that provides ongoing professional development for marketing, business, sales, and design professionals. But the second part of that, and through stimulating the economy of Youngstown with our event, we try to give back into the community. The way that we did that this past year is that we did a guest bartending night at Birdfish Brewery for all of our DOYO Live guest speakers. We got them promotion. We got Birdfish to fill up their bar that particular night out in Columbiana. But then we took up all the tips and we gave those to the Rich Center for Autism.
Oh, that's great.
And then at our conference, we actually allocated 2 nonprofits booth space to basically create awareness for their nonprofit. And we want to continue to try to find places in doing that, and even through the DOYO Live Marketing Show of pulling you in to talk about, you know, the So Good conference that's coming up on October 12th, where you can go learn about social entrepreneurship and social enterprise. You know, we want to serve as that platform. So let's talk a little bit about the differences between a social enterprise in a for-profit environment and actually forming what's known as a B corporation. Can you talk a little bit about the differences between the two?
Sure. So B Corporation is kind of like the fair trade certification that you might see on a bag of coffee or chocolate. It's just that certification that says this has gone through testing from some third-party organization that has approved and said this is a good company. So the B stands for Benefit Corporation. And
there's a lot of criteria too that you have to meet, and it's not just you know, it's not like forming an LLC where you actually have to attest over a year period to where you've shown and that you are meeting, you know, these requirements, and they're pretty stringent requirements. But once you meet them, it's a great place to be.
It is, and they even refer to it as the B Corp community. That now there's, I believe, over 2,000 B Corps that can say we pride ourselves on being a good organization that for our community, for our workers, the environment, we've met the skills and the levels of achievement needed to be that benefit corporation.
Absolutely. And so Gianni Centifonti from Youngstown Business Incubator, also the founder of the So Good Social Enterprise Conference coming up on October 12th, talking social enterprise and a little bit of marketing in between that. So you have, we've talked a little bit about social enterprise, B Corporation. Let's talk specifically about the event. So that event is taking place on October 12th at the Williamson College of Business.
Yes.
And that particular day you're going to have some speakers that are involved. Talk a little bit about the curriculum or the information that's going to be presented at the conference.
Yeah, so this is going to be a great conference. If you have heard the term social enterprise and you want to learn more, or even if you haven't and you think, I do want to start a business, or I do want to do something that's going to help change the world. So we'll have some really great speakers. Our keynote speaker was featured on Shark Tank, and after he was on the show received $75,000 worth of orders coming in, and so he's seen really great success in Akron, and he also benefits in the Amazon rainforest, so he has a really cool story. We're going to hear from people who are going to talk about marketing a social enterprise, crowdfunding.
Crowdfunding is an interesting topic that we'll come back to in a minute, but go ahead.
General financing for a social enterprise, and then the impact and sustainability of being a social enterprise. So there's a session for everyone to take something away from.
I love that concept too of, you know, our I love the diversity of having these different aspects of the revenue portion with the finance and the operations piece, and obviously to my heart, the marketing piece as well. So that's great news. And if you get the opportunity, we're going to post this in our post show notes so that you can obviously grab a hold of a ticket, at least know where to go. Again, coming up on October 12th. It's a great opportunity to get out, go see this, support this event. What this young lady is doing is really admirable. It's inspiring. It makes us all want to do better in our community. So thank you, Gianna. I know what it takes to put together an event, and it's it's a lot of work. It's a lot of effort. It's a labor of love. So I congratulate you on wanting to tackle that. After our conference in year one, Joe Polizzi from Content Marketing World was actually our keynote speaker, and we provided everybody with a version of Content Inc. So I'm going to test you a little bit. Did you look at your Content Inc. book?
I looked at it.
You were finishing up school, so you got a hall pass.
Yeah.
So have you ever done any crowdfunding?
I haven't, but I've looked into it a lot, and there are a ton of resources specifically for social enterprises. There are crowdfunding sites just like Kickstarter, Indiegogo, and GoFundMe that are specifically for social enterprises. So there's something called Start Some Good and Republic. So if you are a social enterprise wanting to start a crowdfunding campaign, there are those options for you.
Yeah, it's unconventional funding. People typically will give anything from a coffee mug to t-shirts to a portion of the business, whatever it's going to take to help raise some capital in order to be able to fund, whether it's an event or a product or a business. But in return, it's always the story about the why. And I think that no matter what you're doing from a marketing perspective, you still have to be willing to be able to put the content out to tell that story in order to be able to get the engagement, the interest, and find your tribe. Mikey, thanks for dropping by, brother. Hope everything's good in Manhattan. Carissa, I hope you figured out that Snapchat filter. I wasn't much help, but I think you know my go-to when it comes to figuring out those things on creative. Gianni Centifonti from the Youngstown Business Incubator talking about the So Good Conference on October 12th. From a marketing perspective, what has been your main go-to when it comes to promoting and getting engagement for the event?
So we've been working a lot just from Facebook and from reaching out to community members. I would say that, again, after explaining what a social enterprise is, it's something that a lot of people want to get behind. Even just if I, as a consumer, were to buy a product that gave a portion of profits to a good organization, and I post a picture of that product on Facebook or on Instagram, people are going to see that and think, oh, that's pretty cool. And so it's kind of a catchy thing in that way, that people want to be able to do good. They want to be able to get behind a cause and support that. So I would say knowing that they can learn these things at the So Good conference is just going to be an exciting time.
Absolutely. That's really good stuff. All right, so cool. So here's what we're going to do. We actually have a special second guest that's going to pop on after you. We are live from Gordy's in Boardman, Ohio today. And we always end up with our guests in some sort of rapid fire question, because we want people to get to know you. We love what you do, we love why you do it, and that's really important. But I think what wins on social media especially is authenticity, transparency, and being real. So here we go. You're a crayon in a crayon box. What color are you going to be?
Let's see. I would say olive green, because it's just a mellow color.
And I've known you I've known you for a few years. I would agree with that. What's on your desk at work?
So I have a notepad with all of my random notes and my to-do lists, a couple different to-do lists.
Are you a list maker?
All the time.
My lists have lists.
Yes. I really like using those quadrants with the urgent versus not urgent and important, non-important, and you kind of prioritize your to-do list. So
interesting.
That's really helpful.
Nice.
I have a picture of my fiance and I, some file folders, a bottle of water. We always try and hydrate at YPI.
Unlike me, I'm properly caffeinated all the time. I have got to get so much better at that. Anyway, last great book that you read that you would recommend everybody reads.
The last book that I read was called Love Lives Here by Maria Goff, and it was just a book that makes you think, like, why am I doing what I'm doing, and really just being intentional with how you're living your life and spending your time. So I would really recommend that.
I like that. That's deep. That spot. So excellent advice. Let's say you won $50 million on the lotto tonight. What would you do?
Let's see. I would probably...
You do the So Good conference.
I would invite everyone to the So Good conference. Paid tickets for everyone.
Okay. We're going to do that anyway, though, but we're not going to pay for them. But
right.
We're going to, yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So I'd probably save a little, hopefully invest it, or, like, you know, try and be smart with that.
Practical.
And then just take some trips and travel as far as I could go, for as long as that I could go.
All right, right on. You said off air that you're not really much of a music person, but mixtape, Pandora, Spotify. You're a little younger, so you may not know what the mixtape is, but I think you understand the concept. Do you subscribe to any streaming radio music services?
I actually don't. I am the outcast in the millennial crew for that. I'm a radio flipper.
We dropped the M word.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. All right. No podcast?
Yeah, I have listened to some podcasts. No certain person, just anytime that I come across something good.
Shameless plug, DOYO Live Marketing Podcast drops November 1st. I'm going all in.
Tune in.
Last year I recorded 4 hours worth of podcast on my couch, at least I thought I did, and I never hit the record button.
Oh, no.
I got everybody out of the house, I talked for 4 hours, and then...
I'm sorry to hear that.
I was so dejected, it's taken me almost a year to get over it. Best business advice you've ever been given? Or some of the best?
I think back to, I heard President Tressel speaking one time, and he listed 5 things that every leader should have, and I forget 2 through 5, but number 1 I remembered was grit. So just having that passion and that drive to keep going even when stuff isn't looking great, but that's what I would say, just to always persevere.
I love that. You know, this morning I was dropping my kids off at school and I ran into a friend in the parking lot. And I don't know what we were talking about. He asked me what I had going on, and I shared with him a little bit. And he said, he goes, I've always said, it's all about 2 things: shaking hands and chopping wood. And I was like, that is amazing. Like, you're right. It's like, you got to get out. You know, your grit. You're chopping the wood and you're doing the hard work, and you got to shake the hands. You got to come on Facebook Live and talk about the So Good conference, because you're doing all the work behind the scenes, and it takes a lot of work to pull that off. All right, this is a very controversial question for the DOYO Live Marketing Show.
Okay.
And I put a lot of people on the spot with it. Best pizza in Youngstown, which is religion, by the way.
I'm tied for a couple. Is that allowed?
Yes, there is.
Okay.
Yeah, and like one guest went on to say with the best pepperoni, best white pizza, best Briar Hill. So yeah, have at it.
Okay. So I've grown up on Wedgwood pizza, so that just holds that special place.
Special
in my
place.
Heart. But being downtown, I would say the Avalon Pizza. It's amazing. They're Briar Hill. There's a lot of good pizza, but I'll leave it at that.
Good stuff, Gianna. I really appreciate you dropping by. You're brave to come and hang out with me for a little bit. And I whatever resource that I can be for you, you know that you have my support. Whether it's coming on the Facebook Live, whenever you need to pick up the phone or email me, call me about either the conference or about marketing it or operations or whatever it is. You know, you've got me as a fan, and I will help you out however I possibly can. You know that.
Thank you.
You gonna stick around for lunch today, or you gotta get going?
I might stick around for a little.
Okay, we've got about 15-20 people coming to a meetup at Gordy's, where we're live right now in Boardman, Ohio. This is Gianni Centifonti. She is putting on the So Good conference at Youngstown State, Williamson College of Business on October 12th. Look for that in the show notes. Tickets are very affordable. Is the early bird ended?
There might be a few left. I'm not positive.
Oh, you had a volume of those.
Yes.
So $30 early bird tickets, then it jumps up to $45. That's a heck of a deal to go and hear the lineup of people that she has speaking. Not only that, but also an opportunity to go shake hands and network with people in the community as well.
And not to mention, in the swag bags, all of the attendees are getting different items from actual social enterprises. So we have a variety of items that every attendee is going to have, and I'm just very excited for it.
That's very cool. So thank you, Gianna. I appreciate you stopping by. And we're going to go. We can't take a break because we're like live. We don't have commercial interruptions. But in any case, we're going to pull in a DOYO Live.
I'm like, give me my cue. Give me my cue.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a DOYO Live veteran sitting next to me to the right. Crystal, thank you for dropping by.
Hey, guys.
So, we've got a DOYO Live veteran. Deanna Facillo has graciously rescheduled the delivery of household products that were supposed to be delivered between 9 and 5.
Yeah, is that
So
crazy?
you got to love that customer service.
I was like, you're joking, right? When I talked to her, and she's like, well, we're going to deliver on Friday. I'm like, perfect. What time?
So Deanna
9
was a year 1 breakout session leader on a Facebook conversation. Year 2 workshop leader for women entrepreneurs. Has a Facebook group called the Startup Circle that you should look for on Facebook. We'll put in the notes here. And she does amazing work in that startup group.
Thank you.
My go-to when I have questions about social media to just bounce things off in this crazy world of the ever-evolving world of social media. And I wanted to have you on, not only for that reason, but we're at the meetup today.
Yes.
At Gordy's.
Yeah.
The other thing that I wanted to talk to you about is that you launched your Facebook Live show on Wednesday. Let's talk about that.
Oh my gosh, I did. I launched my show Wednesday at 3 o'clock. Now I've done lives before. I do them all the time in my groups. But it was the first time I officially branded the Startup Circle Live, and let's just say we all start somewhere. I'm totally real. And I even created a post, if you don't believe me. It was a disaster, a total disaster.
No, stop.
Okay, not a total disaster, right? Because the thing is, I'm pretty transparent and authentic, but let's see, the lighting was poor. So I got a very tall light and strategically angled it at the end of my desk, facing me, close enough, right? Close enough so that I thought I had proper lighting.
All right, go ahead.
It was propped by a book and my coffee mug, right? So the whole time I was fearful that it was going to roll off the desk and knock everything over right in the middle of the live, but that didn't happen. What did happen was that day, a little bit of a breeze on Wednesday, right? So I had 2 windows next to me that the breeze flowed right through. It was really cool. Nice. With the light in my face while doing this live, I was sweating. I was hot. You literally saw the makeup start running off of my face. It was, and then there were 4 people on, and not at one time, 4 total that actually jumped on to watch it. It was less than great, but you know what? It was fun. I don't really care. I was all in the room by myself.
And by the way, your sophistication. You had even the snowball.
Oh yeah.
You had the mic hooked in.
I did.
If anybody actually ever really got to see the production of the DOYO Live Marketing Show, would know the lack of sophistication. We just go live. And we just go live.
That's it.
And the beauty about what we do here with this is that I'm always have the luxury of having to sit next to somebody that's really smart, really good looking, and it takes the pressure off me, because carrying a Facebook Live by yourself is challenging in its own right.
Yeah.
So it's not the easiest thing in the world. So I commend you for doing that, and I will be adamantly disappointed if you don't just continue on.
Oh, I'm totally going to continue on, because I reached out to everybody who's part of my startup circle to be on the show. Because the thing is, I want real stories. I want it to be about what it's like to really start a business and to own a business, right?
Yep.
And a lot of times what everybody sees is the stuff that everybody posts on Facebook and all the glamorous things. The reality is, it's the light in your face, it's your makeup sweating off, right? There's all this stuff that really goes on behind the scenes, that 20% that we don't talk about. I think Tracy Miller had once said that to me. So this is what I want that show to be about, that 20% you don't always hear, and just being totally real. So when I put that out,
I mean, that's been the bulk of the strategy behind DOYO Live for the past year to 2 years, is that I want people to see the grind and the hustle, and hopefully they appreciate, and I win points, you know, when we do maybe come up short in some places, to know that, like, on Instagram stories, you're getting, like, that's not, like, it's real. Like, I'm running from 4 meetings a day, and I'm willing to show people that, and I want people to replicate, and I want them to copy that, because I think that the behind the scenes for me is what I really gravitate towards, wanting to get engaged with people. I want to know that. Like,
I agree with you.
The real, like, I mean, the you know, I was very disappointed. I went to a marketing conference recently. I approached one of the Mount Rushmores of the talking heads of marketing, and they looked so approachable on Instagram. And then when I approached them in real life, they weren't so approachable.
Yeah.
It was
That's disappointing, isn't that?
Yeah, it was a little bit of a letdown.
Yeah.
And it's false celebrity,
yeah.
You know, in its truest form. But in any case, we wanted to have you on today, talk a little bit about, obviously, what's going on with that. So a couple tips on Facebook Live. So first of all, when you do go live, you know, look, people want to see decent lighting, at least good lighting. And I'm
Noted.
I'm guilty of that.
Noted.
I am very guilty of that. There's a scheduling feature within Facebook, and for what I can tell you today, the easiest thing is to just go and Google how to schedule your Facebook Live. So it shows up, it says you can get a reminder that you're going to go live at a certain time.
Yeah.
And that's a nice way to pre-promote it.
Yeah.
Pre-promoting it on other social media avenues, and sending private messages has been a very good way for me to build engagement with going live.
You've done that?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Influence. So having people on the show and grabbing their audience, having them invite people, share it, getting them to send people to like their page has been good. And then when you actually go live, and Jeff Herman has said this, I've said this, and I'm my own worst enemy at times, is where we have, when we go live, you want to say what the show is going to be about.
Yeah.
So the minute you come on, we say, today we're talking about social enterprise, and then you go into, hey, I'm so-and-so, and this is the DOYO Live Marketing Show, or this is the, what is the name of your show?
The Startup Circle Live.
Startup Circle Live.
I don't know if I did it quite in that order. I don't know, I have to play it again to see if I did that or not.
And you know what? The amount of people for me is not, I love having people live, and I'm very much different. If I had to sit down and record a video, or I went live, it's much easier for me to be live than it is for you to put a recording on me and I have to give you sound bites. I don't know what it is.
Really?
It is, and I'm very,
it's interesting.
But here's what's funny about it too. So there's a video on YouTube, and I need to post it. Back in 2007, when I got into digital marketing in healthcare, I got a news interview.
Okay.
Down in Columbus. And that very first news interview that I really ever did was look like Ricky Bobby in Talladega Nights. You know, like when he does the first race, and they're like, so, you know, he wins his first race, and he's like,
yeah.
I mean, that's what my interview was like. It was horrible. And in every day, like, I look at Facebook Lives from last year versus this year.
Oh, wow, I bet.
And you just,
huge
you know,
difference.
Huge difference. So, anyway, join the Startup Circle. You're going to like it.
Ah,
Kelly,
yes.
thanks for dropping by. Really appreciate it. Let's talk about some recent changes to Facebook, an ever-evolving platform of, you know, what's working today isn't going to be working tomorrow.
It changes all the time.
So
I feel like a broken record because I'm constantly saying that. True,
and the sophistication behind it has grown up so much that anybody with a username and a password is kind of my joke of saying is an expert in digital marketing these days. And we have grown out of the fact that, you know, somebody that is savvy on Facebook as a personal profile doesn't really have necessarily always the experience from a business perspective. I was sharing with you about how I ran a Facebook ad and I built out all these demographics. So that's one of the first changes. Facebook's retiring rarely used boosted posts and the way that they're targeting their demographic.
Right.
What did we talk? We said school?
Well, these are actually, the school that you attended
is out.
Where you worked.
Where you work.
Your title.
Your title.
And your field of study. So, for example, if you were running you wanted to run an ad.
So we ran an ad for Call for Speakers.
Right.
And I had actually, this is just 3 months ago, leading into the conference, I had a user profile built out.
Right.
An audience profile. Significantly deep. I know my demographic. I know my geography. And I went to go post to do my Call for Speakers. And I hit the boost button. And unfortunately it says you cannot run this until you remove field of work, school, which are huge.
That's really huge. I mean, this is really, really a big deal. I know, like, even for my clients or when I'm talking to somebody, I'm always telling them that they really need to be specific about who they're going to target. And Facebook has that awesome tool where you can really narrow it down to if you wanted to target teachers or Youngstown State University or one of the local hospitals for whatever reason, you can do that. Well, now you can't. Now, Facebook had said, and you kind of taught me something and surprised me because...
That I taught you something?
You did. You taught me something. No, that's not the part that surprised me.
I do know a little bit about this.
Well, no, because Facebook did say that if you already had that audience created, that it would not affect it. You were grandfathered in. It was just if you wanted to create that audience moving forward. So I was happy because I have those audiences already built in. I have not changed anything. All my ads are still running.
Yep.
But you did. You tried to
I mean, when
run
I literally read my Call for Speakers, and you know, the big part about DOYO Live is that we really do try and target Youngstown State alum because we want them to come back wherever they are in marketing. And now you just took that totally out of my playbook to say you can no longer target Youngstown State University.
Yeah. Now they are saying that it's going to come back. It's just because there's a very small percentage of Facebook users who are abusing this and creating some discriminatory names or fields of studies that people are targeting. So until they're able to fix that issue, they're just stopping it altogether. So I really do hope that that's true and they do bring that back because that is a great tool.
Great tool, especially job descriptions as well. So like when you, especially, you know, I hear, you know, for the longest time it was like if you're B2B, you got to go directly to LinkedIn. But I think that Facebook, you can't misnomer the fact that there's people on the other side of a business-to-business equation.
Yeah.
And everybody that is utilizing Facebook, you have an opportunity to target that audience. And if you're going after a VP of operations or marketing, that was a position up till September 29th that you could actually target for getting content in front of people.
I know.
Other things that are going away.
Disappointed in that one.
Poll sharing, place recommendations. The one that's really concerning me will happen to be around the event boosting. So now what will happen is, we were talking a little bit about this, is that there's a major difference between boosting and running a Facebook ad through your ads manager.
Yes.
So I think what they're doing is they're not trying to lose out on the revenue, but they're just trying to force people into the Facebook ads manager.
That's what I think so as well. I mean, Facebook ads manager, and I don't know how many of you guys out there use it or not, but it is a little bit more complex. It's not completely terrible to get you to use to, but boosting, let's face it, is easy. Everybody knows what boosting is for the most part.
Low barrier to entry.
Yeah.
I mean, you could just click it
and boost your post. Where accessing your Facebook ads manager is a couple steps in that. And then when you get in there, it can be a little overwhelming. However, I encourage, if you are running your own business, if you don't have somebody doing this for you, don't be afraid. Get in there and dig around and get familiar with it, because that's where I believe Facebook is bringing everything. They wanted to go through the ads manager. They've been slowly reducing as far as boosting a post, as far as its reach. It is less expensive than a ads manager, but not drastically. We're not talking big numbers, because you can still run an ad for $10. But there is a bit of a difference. But the ads manager will reach more people. but it is definitely a little bit more complex.
Let's pause for two reasons. Number one, we're going to do a webinar at the end of October on leveraging Facebook Live as a way to grow engagement and grow your business for conversions and whatnot. And I'm going to lead that, and hopefully at that point you've got about a month underneath your belt. So hopefully you'll be on that webinar with me. And we are also live at Gordy's today in Boardman, Ohio.
Yes.
Gordy was awesome.
I love Gordy. Here she comes.
Hey, Gordy.
Love Gordy.
Thanks for dropping by. Thanks for giving us a home today, by the way.
I know.
We really appreciate it.
Yes.
Gordy was one of our lunch people, our lunch providers at DOYO Live.
It's like the lunch lady.
Lunch lady. And just absolutely did an amazing job. So many people are giving us feedback. If you don't know Gordy's Sandwich Shop in Boardman, it's actually more than a sandwich shop. It is a market.
Yes.
And you can come here and get take and bake, take out, sandwiches, corporate lunches. They're doing delivery now.
Yes.
Love
and
it.
why I haven't taken you up on the delivery to my own home.
I don't know. It's not like you don't have a baby on the way.
Well, I don't.
We'll help you out. We'll have the family then.
Well, we like bringing the family here.
Yeah.
But Gordy, thanks for giving us a home today.
Thanks, guys. You're rocks.
So we are in this phase where now certain types of Facebook boosting posts are going to go away. And they're going to have to be restructured. So that's stuff that you need to be aware of. A thing that we talked a little bit of last week when we had Valley Digital Services and Andrea DiPaolo, our year-long sponsor, on for the Facebook Live, our DOYO Live Marketing Show. You know, we have a number of people that are year-long sponsors of our conference, and we have them on a considerable basis, or we announce the fact that they're a sponsor of the show. We have to acknowledge that. But what's really cool in this new update is not only as you update that, you're now going to be able to have an option that you can boost that post, but your sponsor can actually boost that post with you.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And it's just click.
Which if I can convince my sponsors who are already sponsoring us to put more money into the platform, that would be amazing.
No, but that's pretty cool. That's gonna be great. That's gonna be really.
So we talked a little bit about this week. I'd like to hear your take on this. Hey Stephanie, thanks for dropping by. I really appreciate it. We're gonna do a neighborhood show one of these days. She's a neighbor.
She's one of your neighbors?
Yes,
Awesome.
but she also does amazing things. Professor down at Youngstown State University. She is an entrepreneur at heart and doing some really great things with her business in essential oils. And my other neighbor has started Love This Place app, which blends volunteer organizations to volunteers. And they were actually a sponsor at DOYO Live, and Joe lives across the street. So we're gonna eventually do like a neighborhood show here. Pretty cool.
Oh my gosh, that's pretty cool. How did I miss that?
And
that's a cool app.
The coolest thing is like we'll probably be able to have an adult beverage on the show, and we'll all walk home.
Right? Perfect.
Tom,
hey Tom,
thanks for dropping by. So
You're
updates,
missed.
in-stream video placement.
Yeah.
So now Facebook is basically allowing or giving you an opportunity to put a I think it's a 8 to 15 second short clip midstream in a video advertising.
Right.
What do you think about that from the user perspective?
Yeah, see, I know that you guys talked about this last week, and I kind of wrote in my comments. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan when I am the one that's watching a video and that interrupts. And unless that video really, really has my attention or has information that I want to get, I will log off when that ad comes out. So
very bad user experience, and I don't like it. And marketers ruin everything. That's why we're all paying for this stuff on Facebook now. We have no organic reach. But from a marketing perspective, I'm actually willing to test it.
You know, well, sure. Why wouldn't you? You'd be crazy not to, honestly. But I mean, you have to.
I like delivering a good experience, and unfortunately, like a lot of times when I go with my gut with marketing, I'm actually looking at the lens through my world of what I like to engage and interact with. And I just did my webinar yesterday, and what our meetup's going to be about today is Web 2.0 marketing and delivering content on the platform and not pushing people all around the web selfishly back to your website.
Right.
And so that feels like a very selfish thing. It feels like my pop-up on my website to subscribe to my email list is very selfish. that's not the best user experience, and I don't know exactly why I do it at this point, but I do it.
Well, but you know what? You brought up a really valid point last time, saying when we watch TV, there's commercials in the middle of it. I'm not saying I don't want to see this continue, but that was like an aha moment when you made that comment.
It's so
I'm like, that's true.
It's
like we're watching
micro
shows.
content on micro content.
Right.
I mean, it's really crazy.
Right.
The next one, Facebook is rolling out, and they already have, and DOYO's taken advantage of this, is a rounded profile picture, and I was like, so?
Yeah.
But,
and I'm like, no.
But you had a really good point.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, it is kind of a so, right?
No,
I
it's
think,
not. Like after
well, it is and it's not.
After what you told me, I reconsider that.
The reason Facebook rolled out the circle is because they feel that it's going to increase engagement, because we're used to seeing those circles when we text. So that was the reason behind the circle. It might be minor, I don't know. They must have a team trying to figure all this out. But on the flip, if you're a business owner, if you've got a business profile page, you want to make sure your logo now fits, because what once that fit in a square doesn't fit now in your circle.
Right.
And so
half
you
your
really
logo
need
could be chopped off.
It totally can be chopped off now, and I see it on my feed, and I want to reach out to everybody and just message them going, fix your logo, but I don't want to be that person doing it. But no, you do. You want to make sure that your logo now fits in that circle in the feeds, because you might be missing it.
Marketing nerds everywhere are going to get mad at me and discount me. I don't pay much attention to image size requirement on any social media platform, and the reason I don't is because I don't have the wherewithal to know all the image size requirements across all the platforms. So literally what I'd probably do is I spend an inordinate amount of time putting images into the profile, and I'm like, oh, that one doesn't work. Let me find another one.
Oh my gosh. You know what I do? And here's a little tip, because that wastes so much time. And I do care about those. I have a folder on my desktop where I have just the blank size. Facebook profile, business profile, cover page. I know what fits on each one, so then I just pull that up and fill it out. And it's easy. That's what I do.
I'm cool with it. I mean, it's like...
I'm a little ridiculous with some of this stuff, and I know that. I recognize it.
Yeah, because you and Becky Bertuzzi, a committee member, where is she? She should be on Facebook Live.
I know.
Both, when I told you, when you saw the amount of emails in my inbox that weren't cleansed.
Yeah. Oh, that drives me nuts. I can't stand when I see, like, you've got even 2 emails that aren't read, or 2 text messages. The little bubble over the icon.
There is no
like,
zero sum of an inbox.
I can't handle that.
I've given up.
No, I'm really, no.
Facebook, another change. Facebook is testing Instagram stories, which I don't think that this is a big, like, so from your page, from Messenger, you can do stories, and now it's going to be basically Instagram stories syndicated over to Facebook as well, which would make my life easier, and I wouldn't have to post in 2 different places.
Right. And they probably see that. So to me, I don't see that as a big deal.
I try to give a unique experience on each social media platform, so I don't like to replicate my effort on Facebook as I do to Instagram. So for me, having that maybe mitigates time. But then why do you have to go to my Facebook page for the Instagram experience? And I don't really need that.
Right.
They could get some the old school cross promotion between the 2 platforms. But I just like to deliver the unique experience on Instagram, and I look, this isn't a criticism, and maybe it is, I don't know. I just don't like to look at Instagram and see the picture and then go to Facebook and see the same picture.
I know. And you know what? Sometimes I'm guilty of that, I'll be honest. Sometimes I just share just to put something out there, especially more so on my own stuff. On others, I don't. But when it comes to my stuff, it's like we're the last ones to get anything done.
I think they said something about like
is it, a shoemaker?
Well, let's use the butcher example since we have one a part of our conversation. Danny Catullo. I think the butcher's the last. No, the butcher's always the best one. He gets the best kind of meat. Right. Facebook Ads Manager's got a little bit of a slight change. In full disclosure, I'm not actually dug into it yet because I really haven't started a big ad campaign, which will likely start in November to finish out the rest of the year. But you can actually now see in Facebook Ads Manager of how much of your actual people that like your page are going to see your content organically So your free audience versus your paid potential audience, which I think is an eye-opener for people.
Well, you know what? I agree with you. I think it really is, because the organic audience really is what 1 to 5% of your fans will actually see it organically. Now there are things you can do to increase that, but Facebook ads, now Facebook is saying it's a pay to play. They want you to see how much money, like what it takes to how many people it's going to reach, what you're missing out on.
If you really want to see the validity behind that, go and Google Facebook stock price versus organic reach. And what you will notice, the time that Facebook went public, their stock price has increased and their organic has decreased. And there's a direct correlation between the two, and we know that. I
believe that, yeah.
And the other thing that I think that people look at vanity metrics and say, well, followers, don't really mean much, and there are certain metrics that you can get with 1,000 or more followers. There's certain things that you can still change with your Facebook post, your page, up to 500 followers. So there is some validity behind the amount of followers that you have.
Right.
Tom brings up a good point.
Yeah, he does. I just read that.
And that has been our mantra for the past 12 months at DOYO Live, is that we actually utilize Facebook as the genesis of our content. We record this, we then take that, we download that video, upload it into YouTube, upload that now into LinkedIn. We transcribe the show notes and embed it actually over into Facebook as well. But I had a really interesting conversation just before I walked into Gordy's, where we're live today.
Yeah. With
Bright Cove. And Bright Cove does a very interesting thing, that even after you record your Facebook Live video, they will then take it Hootsuite-esque.
Yeah.
And then you can upload it into Bright Cove, and it will syndicate it actually out to YouTube, to LinkedIn, to Twitter.
Really?
So it will minimize the amount of time spent. Because it doesn't download quick, it doesn't upload quick, then you have to do your YouTube thing, and then you have to do your LinkedIn thing. So
it's a lot of time. I know when I took the video of last time I was on here and just put it into my blog post to share it, it was like, oh my goodness, this is like more time than I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So that's great.
I do. And then it is great. So let's talk about some personal usage. There's some creepy things going on with Nearby, that if you actually want a Tinder-like experience, you can meet up with somebody.
It's really creepy.
The Nearby stuff, I'm okay with. I messaged somebody, Megan Augustine, who was a speaker at DOYO Live. We were in Cleveland at the Cleveland Indians game. I was like, "Hey, you're nearby," and I was so trolly creepy the way I did it. I should have said, "Hey, Megan, see, I'm at the Indians game, and see you're at the Indians game too." But the way I did it, she's like, "Hey, are you following me?" I'm like, "No." Megan, no.
Thank God it was Megan.
Right, but now there's some people are getting the application to the point where you're actually able to say, do you want to schedule a meeting with that particular individual?
It is
a little invasive.
It is, yeah, a little bit creepy, but yeah, if you're nearby them, or if you visited the same cities. I mean, that part has been on there, but yeah, there's just some weird things.
Facebook continues to be the Microsoft of the social media world. Whatever Snapchat evolves, Facebook will go and adapt filters for their stories. Tinder-like experience, you don't want that. Well, you can still get this immediate, more docile down effect of a Facebook, encounter or a meeting. From a personal usage perspective, have you seen the highlighting of movies in Facebook Live channel?
Yes.
Pretty cool.
Which I think is super cool. And okay, so wait, I'm not
my goal is that we'll make that somehow.
We will. There's not a doubt in my mind.
Right.
Right? No, I think that's definitely really cool. And it's kind of funny because just moved. I have not hooked up cable yet. And I've been debating. I'm like, we all are on our phones. We're Netflixing.
I cut the cord 2 years ago.
It's like I haven't
I will cut the other cord literally in 2 months.
Yeah, you will. You will.
But we cut the cable cord 2 years ago because of the fact I walk into my TV room and my kids are watching Netflix.
Yeah.
There is no more programmatic Saturday morning TV cartoons. They're watching it whenever they want, however they want.
Right.
They watch YouTube as a lot of their favorite TV stations. So we cut that cord, and so I'm interested to see how Facebook evolves that as well.
Well, I agree. So that's why I'm kind of like, this is cool, clicking on the movies section of it and watching
Which is
those
another
videos.
reason why you got to go all in on live now. Like
You do.
Like I'm preaching this because of the fact that I can see that within another year to 2 years, it will be saturated. But people are still now are not comfortable and don't understand how to integrate it into their strategy, which is why we'll do a webinar at the end of October on how to implement a Facebook Live strategy. The other thing that Facebook is doing, rightfully so, makes a lot of sense. In the last election, they diagnosed about $100,000 worth of fake ads that were run from 470 different fake accounts. I can't believe that they were just from Russia. Not to get too conspiracy theorists.
I know. I find that hard to believe as well.
And the fact of the matter is that I can run an ad on Facebook and they will shut it down based upon certain criteria that they didn't know or didn't understand it or whatever. But it's proven fact that there's advertising being run against different events, against different social, racial type of undertones as well. So they're doing what they can to try to eliminate that. And then that's only 10 updates in the month of September only.
But you know what? There's actually more than 10. Those are probably 10 of the most popular ones, because I know when we spoke, I've heard of some, you heard of some, there were some that we both knew, and then ones that neither one of us knew about. They're constantly changing. So maybe 10 so far, maybe 20 with everything we have combined. What they say last month, there was like 60 of them, I heard.
Yeah.
So it's always changing.
Always changing. Join the Startup Circle.
Yes.
And you will enjoy your time with Deanna Facillo on Wednesdays I think it's going to be at 3 o'clock.
Wednesdays at 3.
We have people piling into Gordy's now to talk marketing over great sandwiches and great company. Thank you for dropping by.
Yeah, thanks.
And thank you. That's basically it.
Thank
That's all
you.
we got.
Thanks, Dennis.
We'll see you all. Take care.
Bye.